Okay, so after 3 months, Remnant 2 is finally playable. So my question to these developers is, why can't you just wait 3 months more to announce and release your game? Just finish it, okay? Or at least just give you an acceptable experience. What is the difference? Very simple. DLSS Performance at release was performing exactly the same as DLSS quality. That is just mind blowing. Okay? Plus, the terrible ghosting that I was getting is gone. Okay? And that is just unexplicable. Okay, take a look at this right now. I'm gonna show you the settings. You see, these are not the settings I would use to play the game, but this is a point of comparison because I want to lock to 60 FPS to use OLED Motion Pro High on my LG C1, that BFI, at 60 to improve the motion clarity. So I want to lock the frame rate to 60 because that's what I can get. Okay, so I'm using DLSS Performance High settings. Let me show you the in-game settings. These are high settings. Let me get this out of the way. Take a look at it. 4K DLSS quality, okay, with high settings. So this is a point of comparison because I show you 3 months ago on my rant, okay, DLSS Performance, I was getting exactly the same performance in this particular scene, okay? So this is very small, but if you go back, I'm gonna post a link in the description of this video to that video. But if you zoom in, sure if the camera can zoom in here, I was getting 59 FPS and the GPU utilization was maxed out, 99%. At this same scene. And this was, let me show you the settings. This was DLSS Performance High settings. Let me show you. I come here. Let me show you, it's the same sequence. You see 59 FPS, 99% utilization. I go to the menu. I show you 4K DLSS Performance, okay? With high settings. I think I scroll down here. Yeah, high settings. You see? Same performance. That is just mind-blowing. Okay? Now we're going from DLSS quality, from DLSS Performance to quality. Big difference, okay? It's just a gigantic difference. And of course, I would not use these settings. I would probably just lower to balance, DLSS balance, so I can get a solid 60 FPS. And even if the game gets more demanding, then I would just have to use performance. But at least I know that it's not gonna drop below 60 FPS, because that's what I need. I need a rock solid performance to lock the FPS to 60 so I can use this OLED Motion Pro High on my LG C1, which it looks okay. Okay, this is like the bare minimum performance that I use to play the games on my LG. Otherwise, I just have to use my plasma TV, and I prefer to use the OLED here, especially because this is a shooter. The OLED has a much better input lag, but this feature is very, very good. When I can lock the FPS to 60, it's okay. And this game is mostly dark, so the flickering doesn't bother me as much. So if I lower this to DLSS Performance or DLSS Balance, I might not have to drop it to Performance. But if I lower to Balance, let's see the GPU utilization. Now it goes down to 84%. See, so from barely getting 60, now it goes down to 84%. Okay, so again, at launch, DLSS Performance was barely giving me 60 FPS. Now balance, the GPU is at 85%. Okay, same scene. It's a big difference, man. I wouldn't have done the rant that I did 3 months ago. Just wait to announce your game. I'm not saying delay your games, okay? For these developers, don't delay them. Just wait. Okay, the 3 months more that you need, 6 months more, whatever you need. Wait to announce it, wait to release it. Why do we have to? Why? Day one, because that's another thing. Day one, the games cost more. 3 months later, you get a discount. Why do we have to pay more for a broken game? Why? It just doesn't make any sense. Wait. Okay, just wait and give a much better experience. This is still not fantastic, okay? This is not like, oh, the performance is now good and I have to keep playing the game. I'm sure there are some areas that are more demanding. Right now, there's nothing going on. Like, I'm not fighting any, bunch of enemies. There's no a lot of particle effects and stuff. I have to wait, but this is at least, almost barely playable. I wouldn't have done a Rant, to be honest, if I see this. And also the other big difference is the ghosting on these particle effects. Right now, I don't see the ghosting that I was seeing at launch. This was horrendous. Look at this. Look at the ghosting I was getting here. Let me see if I can catch that up over here. It was just horrendously bad. This doesn't look great. It looks overexposed on camera. Let me see where I can catch up those particle effects. Were just, oh, look at this. Look at the ghosting on the particle effects. Let me see if I can catch that up better. That's not happening anymore. Look at that. Look at the size of the ghosting. It's like this big on the screen. Look at that. All those particle effects. It's just terrible ghosting and surrounding the character. Look at look at that ghosting. It's like this big on the screen. That's so ugly. And that it has to do with the DLSS, or with the temporal thing. I don't know. It's just horrendous. Look at this thing. The ghosting was just terribly broken. So now let's see now if we can see any of that ghosting. Look at the particle effects right now. I don't see any ghosting whatsoever. Look at those leaves. No ghosting. No ghosting. They are perfectly defined. I don't see any trailing behind those particle effects at all. Nothing. And surrounding the character, if I move it, let me see. I don't see anything. I don't see any ghosting. Surrounding the character, I don't see any ghosting. I'm looking for it, so it's not an issue anymore. It's not an issue. Why do we need to get a game looking so bad? Okay, performing so bad. Just wait, please. Just wait to release your game soon. This is a great game that I wanted to play. I beat Remnant 1. I really like it. But yeah, I'll finally play it. Okay, and hopefully it doesn't get any worse. The battery's out, starting to act. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions. What other game have you revisited recently, where you at launch it was a mess and now you revisit it and it is finally playable? Share your thoughts and opinions, because sometimes I get these games, I just delete them and never try them again. But this one, I had to try it because it was definitely, this is something I want to play for sure. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna, play it like it is. So now it's much better, and I hopefully FSR 3 frame generation comes to all the Unreal Engine games and they start updating it, because if I could use FSR 3 here, I might be able to get even 120 locked. For sure 100 locked for OLED Motion Pro High on my C1. That would be great. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Share any of these games that have improved. This one is definitely massive improvement. This is kind of what I would expect when I got the game, but it was not even close. We still have some of the issues that I complain about at launch. This is just the way it is. We have these leaves floating in the floor, which looks very ugly. I don't think that is artistic intention. I think that's a weird issue with the textures. For some reason it looks like that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention before I end the video is that now we have a potato mode, which is surprisingly like, it doesn't improve the performance as it should, because when you change this to potato, let me show you. change this to potato. This is acting because the battery is going out. Let me change it to potato. Okay, potato settings. I actually like this as an option. So let's change it to potato, and let's change it to DLSS quality. Let me see if we have DLAA. So let's change it to native 4K DLAA potato mode, which looks very ugly, of course. I would not play like this. But look at that. Look at this. DLAA, so native 4K with potato mode. I cannot get 60 frames per second. That is just mind-blowing because this thing looks terribly ugly. It's just so bad. But we still have those trees from 20 miles away animating, which makes absolutely no sense. If you have a potato mode, to still have these trees at the distance moving, this just doesn't make any sense. Why would you want a tree that's behind a building that's 20 miles away moving and animating? It's just absolute nonsense. And now we cannot even get 60 frames per second there. So yeah, I wanted to show you that. Share your thoughts and opinions, and let me know if you have any questions.